started training in the gi, but I quickly realized by watching the UFC is what got me into jiu-jitsu. And I realized that when you'd go to a jiu-jitsu tournament and you see sweeps from the guard left and right. You see finishes from the guard left and right. But in MMA, you didn't see sweeps. You rarely saw sweeps. You rarely see finishes from the guard. And to me, it was quite obvious, like, oh, in the gi, there's no punching. And you got handle. You can grab the collar, you can grab the sleeve, you have all these handles, and you don't have to worry about punches versus MMA style. In the UFC, there's no handles, and the dude on top, he's trying to punch you. So, to me, I saw the problem with jiu-jitsu and MMA, and if it's a problem in MMA, it's a problem in street fighting. You know, if your whole style is based upon having handles and yanking and pulling on collars and sleeves, and then all of a sudden they're not there, and the guy's trying to punch you, there's something wrong. It's glaring, there's something wrong. You know, as far as learning jiu-jitsu and having it be effective for in street fight situations or in MMA situations. So I just immediately started relying less on yanking and pulling on the collar in my training, because there was really no gi classes back then, and there was no gi tournaments. So I began to train in the gi without relying on the collar and sleeve too much. I still had techniques that relied on the collar and sleeve, but I was trying to minimize them just in case I ever did MMA. So I was actually considering possibly doing MMA if I had my back against the wall. If I lost my job, I would do it. I wasn't one of those guys who were like, man, my dream is to be a UFC fighter and get that belt. I'm gonna do everything I can. For me, it was like, fighting in MMA is way better than waking up at 5:30 and working construction all day. So, if my music doesn't take off, then MMA is gonna be my backup plan. That was the plan. So I knew if it ever got to that point, and it almost did at one point, I almost did MMA because I was in a low point in my life, but luckily I pulled through it. And for me, luckily I didn't have to do it, but I was training for just in case. And while I was training just in case just in case I had to fight MMA, and I came across a bunch of techniques, and I created a style that is best for MMA, in my opinion. My style is all based on clinching. Moving in the clinch, setting up submissions in the clinch, setting up sweeps in the clinch. Everything is the clinch. Everything is off the clinch. It's a complete system of clinching and holding and squeezing. It's a Greco-Roman style of jiu-jitsu. In Greco-Roman wrestling, both guys are trying to get their clinch on, trying to get their good clinch so that they can get a throw or a takedown. My style, the 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu style, is all about mastering the clinch without punches. So when there is punches, you're still clinching. It's still the same game. Instead of not having an upper body clinch based system, not having it, and then you get thrown into MMA, and all of a sudden they're trying to punch you, and guess what? You'll be clinching. They all clinch. Whether you have a clinching style or not, you will be clinching if someone's trying to punch you. Now when you clinch, how good is your clinch? Have you polished that clinch and all the setups with the clinch? Most jiu-jitsu players haven't. And another problem that you see in MMA as well is, you get these guys that are used to yanking and pulling, they're used to no punches, and all of a sudden they're doing MMA, there's no handles, and the guy's punching, and the guy on top doesn't necessarily have to grapple with you. In no-gi tournaments, you get points deducted if you disengage. If you're on top in someone's guard or half guard, and you just get up and walk back, that's illegal in grappling. In MMA, it's not illegal. Guys will just get up and walk away and make you stand up. So, if you're not prepared for that, if your style isn't prepared for that, well, you get a guy on the ground, he's on top of you. Finally, you weren't able to take him down. He's a wrestler, you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you're trying to take him down, you can't, you pull guard, great, you pulled guard, you got him on the ground. It'd be better if you were on top, but at least you got him on the ground. But if you don't have a clinching style, you're just gonna get up and you're gonna have to take him down again or pull guard again. So there's 3 things you gotta deal with. If your style is not a clinch-based style, if your style is a clinch-based style, if If your game begins because you got to clinch, then in MMA, if you have to pull guard because you can't take him down, if your style's a clinch game and you clinch onto him, he's not going to be able to just easily just stand up and pull away. Sometimes it happens. You're going to lose the clinch, but generally, you got your clinch on, and you're comfortable with that clinch. You're not just using that clinch to avoid punches, and you're not just using that clinch to avoid another stand-up. That's your offense. That's your baby. That's the key, is to get that clinch. The number one goal in your grappling. As soon as you get your clinch on, whether you got the underhooks or overhooks, you got somewhere to go. And that's what 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu is all about, is preparing you for street fight situations, street defense, self-defense, and MMA. That's the most important thing to me, is how my jiu-jitsu looks when someone's trying to punch you. It's not so important how my jiu-jitsu looks when someone's yanking and pulling on sleeves. I can care less. If my students put on a gi and then they get wrecked by some guys, I don't care. It's like, how do they look in MMA?